Hey, yo, Tut, you ever heard of this new Detroit nigga claiming he got a closet full of J's and shit?
Yeah, man, he got some tight ass J's.
Man, he ain't shit. I'm from Detroit.
No, for real though, that nigga got a closet full of J's. I mean, literally, a closet full of J's.
Yes, your boy got J's out the asshole.
Yeah. All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they say there. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there.
Ludacris going in on the verse, cause I never been defeated and I won't stop now. Keep your hands up, get them in the sky for the homies that ain't making it, my folks locked down. I never went nowhere, but they saying Luda's back. Blame it on that contour, the hood call it Luda-yak. And I'm on this foolish track, so I spit my foolish flow. My hands go up and down, like strippers' booties go. My verses still be serving, tight like a million virgins. Last time on a college remix, now I'm on the original version. Can't never count me out, y'all better count me in. Got 20 bank accounts, accountants count me in. Make millions every year, the South's champion. Cause all I do is
win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get it up. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there. Swerving in my low-low, head on the swivel, you know serving me's a no-no. Clean as a whistle as I pull out in my Rolls Royce. Yellow bone passenger, they see it, they say, oh boy. Tell Cali, back it up, my niggas call me loco. Down for armed trafficking, don't make me pull that fofo. Ask you what you laughing at, represent that mud life. Dirty money, bitch, you better get your mud right. We come together holding hands and holler hood life. We all strapping all black, it's like Bud Light. You riding or what? Cause we riding tonight. Now you riding with me cause you wasn't riding. All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get it up. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they say there. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there.
Heat in the kitchen, pot on the stove, water getting boiled, dope being sold, Snoopy in the hookie, system overload. I've been running this rap game since I was 20 years old. I hung with the worst of them, bust till I burst them up, floss them up, toss them up, harder way, close them up. Pardon me, I'm bossing up, brace you up, bless you, bro, don't mess with us. We like the U in the 80s. Back to back, set a track, hit the lick, get it back, get the trick, jump the track. Bitch, I want my money back. Time and time again, while I'm sipping on this gin. Al Davis said it best, just win, baby, win.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get it up. And every time I step up in the
What up, though? It's your boy, Detroit Dave. And by looking at that beautiful ass, you should already know what time it is. That's the retro. And that's the original. So, we're going to talk about the similarities and the differences between both pairs. How well did they do? Which one has better quality? So by looking at both of these, you should already know exactly what this is. This is the OG Kings Air Jordan 6 Maroon comparison. And I know I normally speak quite a bit, but honestly, I don't really have much to talk about this video. You know it's the end of the year. You know what to expect in January. You know it's a top releases. You know it's a top pickups. You know fourth quarter cops is coming in. Ooh, fourth quarter cops is going to be amazing. Fourth quarter cops is going to be quite nice. But that's January. I normally do a top 10 releases, but a friend of mine was talking about how I should do a top 15 since it's 2015. So I might go ahead and throw a top 15 together. I'm not 100% sure. Let me know, as my subscribers, as the guys that really watch my videos, really care about my opinion, and really enjoy my content. You guys let me know what you want to see. But y'all know I had to do the Maroon comparison, man. You know I had to. So let's jump right into it. Now, a lot of times when I do these comparisons, you'll have a Jumpman on the back of the retro versus a Nike symbol. But not this time. When Nike decided to bring these Maroons back, they brought them back properly. Now, you'll notice that this is actually not the original Maroon box. That's because I got these Maroons from a seller on eBay, and he did not have the original box. But for the price I paid for them at the time was a great price, so I wasn't mad. This is actually my Carmine box, and you've seen this box before in my Carmine comparison. But I just wanted to compare the boxes because no matter which color you got, all the 5s and 6s came in the same box. Just different, different stock codes and different colorways. But as you can tell, they pretty much got everything the same. Now, this is reversed, whereas on the face of the OG box, you have the size tag to the right and the color to the left. Now, on the new one, they put the Air Jordan Made in China stuff on the right, and they put the color and the size tag on the left. So that's a difference right there. But as far as the overall construction of the box, it looks to be pretty much the same. Let me take the sneakers off so we can just look at the box for a second. Set you guys over here. And set you retro guys over here. Well, let's take a look at the boxes. I'm going to set these on end to give you a little bit of a better view. Alright, so now obviously there's a size difference because my Carmines are smaller than my Maroons. And the box is a little dusty, but for the most part, it looks to be the same. Same type of cardboard used. Same placement of the Jumpman logo on the top. Only difference is the new box has Jumpman Air. The original box has Nike Air. They also replicated the paper, which is nothing new. You know, we've been getting that paper, the wax paper like they used to give us in the original boxes. And you still have it here. Now, the OG paper is actually a little bit thicker. It's more opaque, which means that you can't quite see through it as well. So they definitely recreated that as well. So the boxes we can see are pretty much identical. Now let's get into the sneakers themselves. All right, now, as you can see, it looks like the Nike Air. And I'm going to take one of the sneakers away. Now, as I said, there is a size difference, so height and width could vary a bit. I currently wear an 11, and this OG Maroon is actually a 9.5. So that's 3 size differences, 1.5 sizes, but 3 individual size differences. All right, now it looks like the Nike is written in similar fashion. Obviously, the OG is yellowed because it's 24 years old. whereas the retro is very white and crisp because it's only a couple weeks old. Well, I mean, as far as release, I'm sure it's older than that because they had to produce it. So yeah, it looks like it's about the same. It looks like the swoosh definitely cuts into the E on Nike on both pairs. Looks like the height of Nike is about the same. Looks like Air is about a similar space apart. And it looks like they're both set right in the middle with no real differentiation on the setting of the stitching of the Nike Air on the heel. So let's look at the tongue height. So I'm gonna try to pull this up as much as I can. And same here. And they both look to extend over the top of the shoe, although the new one looks to extend a little bit more. Oh boy. Well, no, the OG extends too. It's just that it keeps sliding down because it's older. But yeah, they look to both extend, I want to say maybe a half an inch above the ankle pod. I'm gonna go ahead and turn these to the side. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna grab the other one. And let me go ahead and twist these boxes so you guys can get a really good idea of what we got going on here. All right, so now we got the boxes side by side. And now we're gonna take a look at the sneakers side by side. Now this box is a little taller, so I'm gonna set this one up a little bit. Okay, so this one is remaining, but this one is stuck down a little bit. So let me see if I can pull this up just a tad bit. Alrighty. So now, yep, it looks like the OG actually extends a little bit more. Let me pull this one up a little bit. Yep, looks like the OG actually extends a little bit more from the top of the ankle pod. So the tongue's a little bit taller on the original. Also, you'll notice on the original that behind the tongue it says made in Korea. Some of them say made in Taiwan. And on the retro, it has absolutely nothing. But it looks like the way that the tongue is stitched, the way that it's made with the padding showing behind the rubber tongue and the stitching around the windows, or I don't know if you want to call them pull tabs, because the pull tab is generally in the back, but these were made to pull on very quickly. So this is for your fingers to slide on. But you can see that the stitching is made relatively identical. As far as the color on the pull tabs, sorry, I'm trying to get a good angle here. Make sure you guys can see it really well. That maroon does seem to be identical. So it does look like they did a really good job on matching the color. Because I know with the infrared, the color was different. It was closer to the original than people think, but it was still different. And when I look at the color of the maroon around the air bubble, although the OG is a little bit discolored, it has a little bit of chipping. Those colors do seem to look identical. So far it looks like they got the stitching correct, the Nike Air correct, and the color correct. I'm just going to toss this up here so we can get a bit of a better view. And let me see if I can get out of the light for you guys. And it does look to be identical. Now, the sole on this shoe has yellowed. It has yellowed tremendously because it was worn. The former owner actually tried to do a restore on it, so he painted it. And as you can see, it's not the best paint job. But, you know, to have a pair of Maroons was all that mattered, you know, so a complete pair, even though now this midsole is cracking tremendously. It wasn't cracking that bad when I got them. Now this midsole, the outsole, I did wear these once, so that's why you can see that discoloration. The outsole on this one is not really that same blue tint that they have been dropping with the retros. It's more of a milky white sole, just like that came on the 7210s. As you can see, this sole is more milky white, whereas the previous ones had a blue tinted sole. And all of this is just to try to deter the yellowing that you get on OGs and earlier retros, because the ones that had the 100% clear soles were yellowing. So they used the blue tint to try to keep away from that. They see that the blue tint was still working, so now they're trying this milky white sole, although I saw pictures of 7210s that had pre-yellowed. So who knows if that's going to work, but they're going to keep trying. As far as the quality of this shoe, though, it definitely matches up. So let's look at it from a front angle. And once again, this box is taller, so I'm just going to put both of them up here. And we're just going to compare shape. Now, like I said, there is a size difference, but the toe box does seem to have about the same shape. No, I take that back. It does not seem to have the same shape. I was going to say that this one has probably got smashed down because of wearing, but you can see that this one rolls a little bit higher than this one, whereas this one looks a little bit more flattened out. This one has more of a ball or circular shaped toe box, and it's not as flat. As far as the coloring, I think they got it exactly correct for the, I don't know what you would call it. Would you call it a tongue patch? The Jumpman patch on the 6? I don't know. I don't know what you would call this. But right here where you run the laces through. I like the way that they did that in off-white as well. Give it kind of that yellowed, or, you know, that off-white, that ivory look, just like the originals. So I like that. And then you see on the OG pull tab, on the OG lace lock, you have Nike written, Jumpman on the other side. Just like on the new one, Nike written, Jumpman on the other side. I really think that this is the best replica of a sneaker that I have seen in all of retroing. The only one that I could say came even close to this, which I'm still thinking that this one might even be better, is the 91 black infrared versus the 2000 black infrared. But even still, the 2000 wasn't quite the same, because as you know from the 2014 model, the OG had 3M behind the ankle pods. It had 3M right here, whereas the 2000 model did not have that. But as far as everything else, materials and all, the 2000 was very close to the 91. And so I think the Maroon, they took it a step further. I mean, everything is looking identical. If you look at the leather, let me spin this box one more time. If you look at the leather, you'll notice on the 2015 model, there is a different style of leather. Up around the toe box and on the side of the shoe, you can see it's more like the flat leather that we've been getting on the 6s versus the tumbled leather on the overlay. And then in the back, you can see that it's actually more of a rugged leather. It's not as soft as the leather on the side or on the toe box. It's not as quite as smooth and soft. This one's a little, I don't know if you can hear that. Versus, so you can hardly hear that right here. But over here, it's definitely more rugged, more rigid. So we actually have 3 different types of leather, or leather processed in 3 different ways, should I say, because I don't know if it's the same leather. Leather is just a process. I mean, suede is also leather as well. So you can see that the overlay is different from the sides in the toe box, and then the back of it has better constructed leather, which I would imagine is for better ankle support. And then when you look at the original, you can see that this is definitely softer, smooth leather on the toe box and on the side. And then you can also see that the leather is tumbled ridiculously on the overlay. So they got that right. And then you can just look and tell the difference in the leather in the back. You can look and see that that's a different, thicker, more durable leather, as I stated, which I imagine is for better ankle support, because you definitely want to have more protection around that ankle, because I don't know about you guys, but I've rolled an ankle or 2 in my life, and it's not pretty. So that ankle support is definitely what you need. So just to go over a couple of things that we noticed that have been similar so far. We got 1, the box. The box is quite similar. Only difference is that the original has Nike Air, whereas the retro has Jumpman Air. Another similarity is the stitching and the placement of the Nike Air on the heel tab. Another similarity is the colors used. Similarity number 5, I believe we're on now, is the construction of the shoe as far as the leather used and the panels of leather that they used. The shape definitely is different. The shape is different because as we noticed, the OG, the toe box definitely sits lower and more flattened out versus the 2015 retro. It has more like the Air Jordan 6. I'm sorry. Well, this is Air Jordan 6. I'm tripping. It has more like the 2008 Carmine type of build versus a more flat build over here. So let's take it to the inside of the shoe. And for this one, I'm actually going to use the other sneaker because I've got this one. This one doesn't have a lace in it, so it's a little bit easier for me to maneuver. Insoles look to be basically the same. Nike Air on the insole. On the original, Nike Air on the retro. Now the Air is written different. So on the OG, Nike Air on the insole is written. Hey, let me pick this up so you guys can get a really good view. On the OG, Nike Air is written just like it is on the back, with the Nike sitting on top of the swoosh and the Air underneath both. Whereas with the retro, you have Nike Air sitting on the swoosh, but Air is written in the same way as Nike. And it's kind of off to the side under the swoosh versus being directly underneath it. So the colors are the same, the placement is the same, but the wording's a little bit different. So that's another difference, is the way Nike is written on the insole. Now also on the retro, the size tag is right there on the side. I'm trying to get the camera in there really, really nicely. Hopefully it can focus in. All right, there we go. So as you can see, you got the size. You have the different sizings depending on where you're located. You have the UPC code, made in China. You have the stock number and production dates. Now, on the original, the size tag is not on that side. Is it on this side? Yes, the size tag is also on the side, and it's written a little bit different, obviously, because this is the OG. So you still got made in Korea. You still got all the different sizes and the patent numbers, but they weren't putting UPC codes on there before. And the date is still on there, as you can see. We're looking at February 2004 of 1991. That's what that date is, 91-02-04. So that's the date of production, which will be February of 1991 on the OG. So the size tags are both in generally the same spot on the OG and the retro. The color of the netting seems to be white, not that off-white. And it seems to be the same here. Yep. Now we're going to look at how they look from the side, just to see if everything's pretty much made the same, because I know when I did my Carmine comparison, it was some differences in the stitching. Like right here on the Carmines, one of them had more of a space right there, whereas with the other one, it was just right there touching, and you could see the panels touch right there as well on the Maroon pair. And then on the OG, you can see right here how it's a little bit of a gap. The panels aren't directly touching. Let me see if I can get this to focus in a little bit better, because you know it's all about the content for me. Now you can see that. That's beautiful. Where there's a bit of a gap between the back panel and the side overlay of leather. So you can see that. The mountains have a bit of a different shape. Whereas this one, the OG, is shorter and more rounded out. The retro is kind of longer and more flat as it comes towards the front of the toe box. So the shape of these mountains are about the same. It's just a very, very slight difference right there. And then it looks like in the back, they're about the same, coming all the way towards the back of the shoe, with the coloring around the visible air unit. So yeah, that's them side by side. And then I'll also throw these up here. Just to give you that feeling. And give you more of a broad look at how these shoes match up side by side. And like I said, there is a size difference. So the new ones, which is my current size of 11, the box is taller and the sneaker is taller, so it definitely does sit up taller. But as you can see from the side right here, all the placing and everything seems to be identical. We got 7 dots on the ankle pod over here. We got 7 dots on the ankle pod over here. I'm not about to count all these dots, but I'm just saying everything looks to be the same. So this has been the Air Jordan 6 Maroon comparison. If you notice anything that I might have missed, or if you notice anything on your pairs, if you have both, then please comment, let me know. One final thing I do want to look at is the soles on both of them, because we already kind of talked about the soles, but we didn't really do that good comparison of the soles. So let me, yeah. So yeah, it looks like everything is set up about the same. Let me go ahead and do this here. That way I can give you guys a better angle. Uh-oh. It's hard to hold this camera and still give you guys good views. So I'm trying to do that right now. Just give me 1 second. And when you look at the soles, they look to be about the same as far as the way that they were constructed, where the icy sole inlay is mixed in with the regular rubber part. Jumpman is a little bit thicker on the OG, a little bit more pronounced than it is on the retro. The overall Jumpman is thinner, and it doesn't stick out as much on the retro versus the OG, where it's kind of fatter, and it definitely sticks up. Like, you can see that it's raised up more so than on the retro. And also, there's a bit of a color difference on the Jumpman on the bottom, but like I said, this is years and years of difference, and this shoe's also been worn. Well, I mean, the new ones I wore too, I only wore them once though, versus this one was worn I don't know how many times. So yeah, so it looks like those soles are about the same. So yeah, so that's what it is. I just want to take this time to thank everyone for checking out this comparison of the original 1991 Air Jordan 6 Maroon versus the exceptionally well-crafted 2015 model of the Air Jordan 6 Maroon. First retro ever. I think Nike did a wonderful job on this sneaker. I'm very, very, very happy to say that I own a pair. I actually own 2 pairs. And shout out to all the people that pre-order with me. I definitely appreciate it. All the people that pre-ordered those with me. Make sure y'all got y'all pairs in. I definitely appreciate that. Like I said, you know what's coming up in January. You know I'm giving y'all fourth quarter cops. You know I'm giving y'all top releases, top pickups of this year. So I'm giving y'all 3 or 4 videos in January. As well as what my favorite release of this year is that I own. Because some of the stuff that came out that I like, I don't own it. But a lot of it I do. We're going to talk about quality. The 7210s, man, with that leather on the upper is just, I think they did a wonderful job. Some people complain about the sparkles in the patent leather. I think it's an excellent idea. Love the stitched 23 in the back versus the screen printed 23. So we're going to talk about that. Quality on these, of course. Shattered backboards, something new they were doing with the ones, Pinnacles. Those are in my fourth quarter cops coming up. Because y'all don't know about those yet. So we gotta get into that. And just to throw this in there, it's Yeezy season, man. This is the only one I like. This is the only one I like. This is the one I got. You know, I don't really rock them that often. But I was going to do some raffles, so I was like, you know what? It's Yeezy season, man. Let me throw the only Yeezys that matter to me on real quick. So, you know, I did crush a couple niggas with tans. You know how that go. But anyway, I really hope everybody got their boost. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of pairs available if you didn't get them. But we're ready to spend, you know, 15 plus on them. Because 750s is doing it like that. But, yeah, so that's what's going on with me, man. I really hope y'all get y'all boost if y'all go for it. I didn't get no calls. So, you know, it is what it is. I'm just doing my thing. Just got finished with Chromes. Got a couple people Chromes that wanted them. Follow my IG. You can see everything I'm doing as far as pre-orders, how to order, all of that. My IG, of course, is at DTROYT _DAVE. The number for pre-orders or just to kick it is always the same. 678-830-6690. Upcoming pre-orders is really a short list at this point. I mean, I'm doing everything. I mean, all the 12s that's coming out, I'm doing all of those, of course. But those alternate 1989 Fire Red 4s are coming out next weekend. So I definitely will be doing orders on those. And whatever you need, man. If you have trouble finding it, it's something in particular you want, just holla at me, man. You know your boy's gonna take care of you. So thank you for watching my video. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I drop content every month, at least one new video a month. I got new exciting videos coming for y'all. That fourth quarter cops is gonna be amazing. You're gonna love it. So please subscribe. If you don't want to subscribe but you did enjoy the video, hit the like button. If you want other people that you know to check it out, maybe they might enjoy it, hit that share button. You know, it's not that difficult. And I appreciate all the support. Whatever you guys do, follow me on Instagram. Hit me up for pre-orders, just to kick it, or whatever. So like I said, this has been the Maroon comparison. I'm very happy to have my pair. and I have been rocking them. So yeah, these will be rocked again several times. It's just a dope sneaker, man. I think they executed it extremely well. So shout out to Maroons, man. This has been the Maroon Comparison. As always, it's your boy, Detroit Dave, and I'll catch you next year. So have a happy holiday. Christmas is coming up. I hope you get everything you want and you can provide everything for the people that love you. Have a safe, happy new year. If you need those 89 4s, holler at me. I will be doing pre-orders on them. And just continue to look out for the channel for new content, man. I appreciate you. This has been your boy.
The Chevy X2s, I'm the shit. Now these dudes getting sick when I cruise in my whip. 23s was the coolest to get. Swagger on full tilt while maneuvering it. And it's Dave, so I usually spit that game. So my dame son usually bitch.